Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well today. So many of us, I would dare say majority, are living our lives in autopilot and we don't even recognize it. Living in autopilot is when you wake up in the morning, you do your usual routine before work, you drive off to work, you do your things at work, your responsibilities, you go home, you sleep, and you repeat this cycle ad infinitum. Nothing wrong with this, but many times, if you ask people, they don't even know and realize that their days are just passing by, that their days are just ending one after the other, and they are shocked to find out one day that they are already old. Not to go into specific clinical diagnosis, but a research study published in 2003 in the American Journal of Psychiatry surveyed at least 500 people across different races, different occupations, mostly working age group. And astonishingly, they found that 60 to 70% of those they interviewed, the cohort, did not even realize the details of their usual days. In other words, majority of the people interviewed were simply living their everyday lives as though they were automatons in autopilot. And in fact, some medical and scientific literature are indeed already using this term to live in autopilot. And I don't think, and I think many other people would agree, I don't think this is a healthy way to live our lives. I certainly won't go into the sphere of morality, but I certainly do not think this is the right way to live anyone's lives. To simply exist without really savoring one's life. To simply go about one's day as though he were a mere spectator of his or her own life. To go about the entirety of one's existence like a shadow, like a specter. Personally, I wouldn't want to live my life that way. And I'm sure many of you, if by one way or another, God knows for whatever reason this video found you, I would reckon that you also would not want to live your life in autopilot. So it's hard to start, especially if one is not aware that one is living like an automaton in the first place. But a follow-up study in the same cohort of authors in this 2023 research paper suggested that we can take baby steps of mindfulness to really devote a dedicated space and time for awareness. An example, in the weekends, really be mindful of how you create your coffee. When you are stuck in traffic on the way to work in your typical workday, try to take the dedicated time and space in that moment and try to observe the other vehicles around you, the other irate drivers, around you. When you are in your workplace, why don't you take the quick, dedicated time and space to even notice the stuff in your desk? That old family photo which you once lovingly placed in your desk, but maybe in a span of years simply became a background fixture. Look at it again, be aware, practice mindfulness. It's difficult because if and when we, and I also include myself, if and when we have been accustomed to living our lives this way, in autopilot, the mere act of being aware that we are living our lives as such is difficult in the first place. And so, baby steps. We need baby steps of awareness, of mindfulness, like this very act of you watching this video. Hopefully, this provided, no matter how tiny, an exercise for you today. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you again in our next video. Take care.